Whether you're feeding 200 head over there or 700 head, it doesn't take much more time to feed 700 head than it does 200 head. We've got one feed yard that'll feed a 750-pound heifer 160 days. I got another feed yard, they'll feed a 750-pound heifer 208 days. It all just boils back down to knowing what feed yard to send what animal. If you're gonna go out there with your family and go look at 10 to 30 cows every day, you better buy something that you like to look at. And you get used to selling $2,000 to $2,800 calves. You get used to that, then you expect it. A cattle feeder is usually working off of pretty slim margins. That's why they run so many.
Yeah. Welcome to the Landowner Insider, the podcast for Texas landowners who want to stay up to date with current events shaping our state. Here we talk about issues that actually impact your Texas lands, markets, water, wildlife, policy, and the decisions that are shaping our state. I'm your host, Kasey Mock with the Mock Ranches Group. And in each episode, we sit down with the people who are shaping the future of Texas. We're not afraid to ask the hard questions. This is the Landowner Insider podcast presented by the Mock Ranches Group.
No, I wanted to talk about the numbers, Wesley, because, we talk to farmers and ranchers every day, and it seems like in the buy-sell process, not always with the intensity of agriculture that you were in, but outside of the dairymen and outside of the bigger feeders and some of those, very few of them know their numbers. I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, lifetime, he's my dad's age, lifetime in agriculture, and they've had a bunch of rain this summer, and so their hay crop's incredible, right? He's talking about just barely getting out of the hay field, and I made a joke like, doesn't it feel good when you get out of the hay field and the hay you rolled up's not worth what it costs you to roll it up? And he laughed, and I said, what is your hay bringing? He said, oh, there's tons of it for sale at $45 a roll. I said, what does it cost you to roll it up? He didn't know.
It's high. I think it's costing about $30 to $35 to roll it up if I hire a custom guy to come in and do it like I do. I don't own any hay equipment.
That's just in the harvesting and rolling process. That's not fertilizer, ground lease, sprig, weed spray, nothing.
Yeah, exactly. All that. So I think that the break even on
coastal hay,
depending on what the quality of it is, but and the size of the bales, if they're putting up, somebody's baling you up a 700-pound roll of hay, a little bit different than somebody that's putting up a big bale like 1,100 pounds, like I prefer. They need to weigh over 1,000 in my opinion. But
to make it worth handling them.
Yeah. And I think just off the cuff, I think the break even on that deal is about $70 a roll. And that's with all your, pre-emergent grass burr control, fertilizer, and there's a lot of hay out there.
Bunch.
There's very little good hay.
Yeah. A lot of filler.
If it's not cut ever, say 26 to 28 days, somewhere in there, it's just filler. And I put up a lot of filler. I mean,
in the wintertime.
I have to have it because I'm running a TMR, today's mixed ration. So we mix feed on 2 different locations daily. It consists of hay, silages, whether it's grass silage, corn silage, and some other DDGs and whatnot.
And you're putting that out to your mother cows? You're straightening out calves or what?
And straightening out calves. Yeah. And they'll come in weighing, around 5 to 650. They'll leave whenever I'm out of room and need to reload that. Whenever I have the opportunity to buy some more, which is every week, whenever I ship whenever we get full, and I'll ship out a few loads and give us some breathing room to buy a few more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the hay, it's cheaper to buy it than it is to raise it. So I don't know. That's just what we're doing. I'm not saying it's right, but it's tough to make any money in the hay production. If you're gonna do hay production, you better be good at it.
Why not just graze your hay, save your winter pasture, save your native pasture for winter, Why do that?
Well, there's a lot of guys that go in there and cut 1 or 2 cuttings of hay, and then they save the, say, 3rd or 4th cutting, and they graze it throughout the winter because it's stockpiled on the ground. Mm-hmm. You don't have to put it out. You just have to put out supplement with it, give them more protein.
Some liquid feed.
Yeah, liquid feed.
That stuff on the ground gets a little less palatable. So
correct.
Give them some liquid feed, stimulate the rumen.
What we're doing, we'll do that, but we'll feed DDG, loose DDG, and pile it up on the ground because of the cost difference. I mean, I can buy that stuff for $240 a ton, and DDG cubes are $4.25, $4.50 a ton, and that's a big price discrepancy. But I also have the facilities to handle that kind of feed, and be able to put it out and willing to do it. But that's all we do. We're in the business. We're not hobby farming. No offense to anybody that's got 10 cows and a job in town. I'm thankful for them. But I'm set up where I can do things that most people
at scale.
Not. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, at scale. Well, Wesley Wood, Stephenville, Texas, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You got a cool place here. I've been by here, no telling how many times, and never been in this joint.
Well, the coffee pot's always hot and the fridge is always stocked. So if you find yourself in need, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, just pull on in. You got the door code now.
I like it.
I've known Wesley for, I don't know, off and on for years, but not super well until recently when we moved back and got more involved in the community. So I just wanted to have Wesley and talk about the cattle business. Wesley knows more about the cattle business than most folks that I know. And what I appreciate about you, Wesley, I listened to your interview with Crockett on the Wealthy Cowboy Show, and you really broke down the cattle business by the numbers, which I think outside of the feeders and people at scale, most cow-calf guys don't know their numbers.
It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with it, and you really don't know what you put into an animal until you start keeping track of it. And there's a lot of guys that they'll just go dump out some feed, and there's no accountability for it because, like I said, they have other income, and this is fun for them. They enjoy it. It's more of a lifestyle that they dream about doing full time, and it's a tough business. And that's
but even guys that do it full time,
that's true.
Particularly if they've got 50 cows here and 50 cows over there, and they're mixed colors and crossbred cows. And what do you do in the wintertime? You feed cubes 2 or 3 times a week, and you put out hay.
Yeah.
Why? Does it make financial sense to do it? When do you turn your bulls out? Is that the best time to do it?
There's a lot of this stuff.
Don't know. A bunch of them cannot answer they're doing it that way because that's how Dad did it.
Right. Well, that's the problem.
A bunch of that happens.
That's the problem with our industry is a lot of us are doing it the way that our dad and granddad did it, or our neighbor or a mentor or whoever it might be. And for example, like I'm feeding loose DDG on the ground. Well, historically, most people have all bought cubes, and some of them even dump them in feed troughs. I mean, why have a feed trough whenever you're paying a premium for a cube? A cube is a convenience, so you can put them on the ground. And I'm just trying to.
The loose, but you feed it on. What's your waste percentage when you feed that on the ground? You
10%.
10%.
Supposedly, I think.
But the cubes are almost double the cost.
Exactly. I mean, I think K-State I think it was K-State. Might have been OSU. They did a study on it. It was a long time ago, 15 years or 20 years ago, and they said it was 10 or 15% waste. But that's a risk I'm willing to take, and it can't be bad for the ground.
Who taught you? the business?
Good question. My parents are in the dairy business still, and I grew up. Well, of course, we were always in the dairy business. Yeah. My granddad was there in the dairy business, the same spot, and I learned how to work at the dairy. I learned how to feed, animal welfare, I guess you might call it, how to take care of them, whether it's from baby calves to a cow that was headed to the packer tomorrow. And so that's where I got started at. And so
why didn't you stay dairying?
Well, that deal's pretty tight.
It is tight.
It's tight, and it got where
they still dairy?
They do. They do. They milk about 460 cows, freestall, and good setup. But I started, while I was in college, I started buying some stalker. I rope calves and always had some roping calves around, and got confident on my health, the health on these cattle. If you can keep them alive, you're probably going to make money.
Yeah.
And
especially on the calves.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what's the average death loss for calves? 4 to 7%?
Yeah, probably. I was
looking at some feed yard numbers the other day, and they were talking about 4 to 7%.
It's probably closer to 7 than it is 4.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I knew how to take care of them, and we had some wheat out behind the house, and like 60 acres of it. And we ended up partnering, me and my dad and mom partnered on them. We bought a load of calves, and I made money, and it's the first time I'd ever really made any money. And so we did it again the next year. Then maybe 2 or 3 years into it, my dad told me, he's like, you probably need to find your own place. So I rented an old dairy that had a little bit of cultivation on it. And so that became my new headquarters. And they were helping me finance the deal. And then he told me, he's like, you need to go get your own loan because you're doing more than what I'm willing to put up.
Yeah, more risk than I'm willing to take.
So
got enough of my own.
Yeah, so I had to go put all my eggs in one basket and go give them to the banker and say, hey, here's what I got and here's what I can do. And that's whenever I started my relationship with Ag Texas. I mean, they had me on a short leash. You know, it wasn't a several $1 million revolver right off the bat. I mean, it was tough there at first. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Jay Kittle was my first banker, and he didn't exactly just throw the money out in front of me and say, here you go. Yeah. Anyway, which was a blessing looking back.
Sure it was.
But yeah, fast forward, I don't know, 15 years, I ended up getting that place bought. They left it in the will that I had first shot at buying it. And anyway, lucky enough to.
Is that where you straighten your cattle out? That's your headquarters deal?
Well, I call it my rollover pens. It's kind of a grow yard setup, and we'll straighten them out at another place. Mm-hmm. And then we'll bring them in after we've had 3 or 4 weeks up underneath them. Yeah. And put them on a TMR and feeding them silage and all the commodities that are readily available and cost efficient. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of.
What's your philosophy on the calves? You talked about you ship them when your pens get full. Are you trying to time the market? Because like this week, the market's down a little bit.
Right.
Are you trying to time the market? Or are you of the philosophy, turn your money over as many times as you can with healthy cattle and you make money on the blend?
Well, my feed is really cheap right now. I can grow them a lot cheaper than a feed yard can. And whenever I said that was, if I need room in my grow yard, we just ship some cattle because I keep them for as long as possible. Whether it be
because you know your cost of gain.
I know my cost of gain, and whether you're feeding 200 head over there or 700 head, it doesn't take much more time to feed 700 head than it does 200 head. So you have the same labor tied up in the deal. So we're just trying to maximize our time and be as efficient as possible. And we've been blessed these last couple of years and been able to put up quite a bit of grass silage and corn silage and whatnot. And my roughage is cheap, just like we talked about. The hay, you can buy.
You're
it cheaper
buying that, not farming yourself.
Well, no, I farm about 1,000 acres of cultivation, and there's 1,500 or so Bermuda grass that can be grazed or chopped for silage or put up for hay. So, but I like to keep enough feed around I like to keep minimum 2 years of inventory of feed stacked up. But it's like a savings account.
Yeah.
You're just like buying.
You always feed last year's hay first?
Yes.
Feeding the old
Except for my receiving pens. They get our horse hay or whatever you want to call it. The best stuff we have.
Best stuff you got.
Yeah. We want them to be able to get full and put something in front of them that looks really nice to them and has some more protein in it, because a lot of this hay is just hay. It's just junk, but it's filler, and there's a spot for it, but yeah.
Where'd you learn the numbers on the dairy too? To look at the numbers?
No, I just learned how to work over there. but no, I guess it was. I got to be buddies with some guys and gals over in Fort Worth, and some of them have been through the TCU Ranch Management. And actually, as Missy Bonds, she gave me the break-even calculator that they were using at TCU. And
Bonds Ranch, Bonds?
Yep. One of the daughters. And anyway, she sent it to me, and I used it this morning. It's the same one I use. It's simple, and I can plug in all my what these cattle are going to bring later on, my goals on the cost of gain, goals on average daily gain, death loss, plug it all in there, and it shoots you out a real number, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Because like this morning, I was putting numbers in on some cattle that I've been trying to buy, and they're bringing more than where you can hedge them at. So there's a lot of guys that are betting on what's to come, and it's tough to get cattle bought that have a large margin in them.
I heard of a pen of Bramers last week bringing like 4,500 for opens.
Yeah, well,
that's probably not making money on the cows though.
I don't know. Depends on how long a Brahman cow will live and produce. I mean, they're not like an Angus cow. You can get a lot. I don't know the exact lifespan of a Brammer, but I bet you can get, 15 to 20 years out of her.
Yeah.
And an Angus, looking at maybe 10.
Yeah. 10.
It all depends on the grass too, and how they're.
How long their teeth last.
Yeah, if they've been eating New Mexico dirt, sand, or they're in East Texas where they don't have to work for their food. It's just there. But
what's your ratio of cow calf to stalkers or yearlings?
I'm not a cow guy.
Okay.
I'm not a cow guy. I have some cows, and mine are all projects. Like I buy some cows out of the north, some open cows out of Wyoming and whatnot, and bring them down, and they call them rebreeds.
Yeah.
I bought a few of those, and I buy some.
Breed them, sell them as a bred.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Just trying to.
You're not calving them, selling 3-in-1s. You're just selling them as a bred.
I'm open for opportunity.
Okay.
I've got some of those.
Okay.
I didn't exactly buy them to calve them out, but I ended up hanging on to them, and we calved those out. And Like this week we pregged just shy of 200 head of open, or excuse me, they were open when I bought them, replacement heifers. We bred all them, and I think we're going to calve all them out. And so I don't really know the percentage. It's probably 30% replacements, but I think the replacement.
You're not buying replacements though and keeping that cow for 10 years.
No, I'm not. I have a few places I could run cows on, but
is that due to is that a business decision, or is it just your places aren't conducive to that?
Well, historically it had been a business decision because I always thought the cow calf guy he's been struggling for a long time. The last couple of years, he's been making
it looks
leaps
good.
and bounds. Everybody wants to be in the cow business now. But yeah, so I've always just thought short term, and I don't want to be married to a cow. That's just not the way I think, and I'm able to put in the work and the risk on keeping something short term, and that's
short term. You have to know your numbers, or else
you do.
It's gambling.
Yep. Oh, well, it's gambling anyway.
Gambling anyway.
Yeah, just with larger numbers than. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. It's a lot of risk. Of course, I try to mitigate my risk through. I have a couple of commodity brokers I work with, and we try to stay hedged up as much as possible. And just trying to buy the right kind of cattle is that's where my deal has really been good. Like the heifers that I buy, that I buy to go to the feed yard. They've been doing really well.
When you say buying the right kind of cattle, are you trying to buy cattle that are going to do well in the feed yard, or you're trying to buy cattle that are going to be good females long term? What are you talking about? Because it's a different answer for the different guy, right?
It is. I have cut out the bottom 15% that I used to buy due to quality.
Okay.
I'm looking for a deep heart girth. A heifer I can make weigh 1,400 if I need to.
Yeah.
Most of these heifers, on average, you can get them to 1,200, and that's about it.
That's to say 1,100.
Yeah. So, but we're getting these cattle bigger and bigger. These last few years, since, really the last 2 years.
That's because you're making your money on the gain.
Well,
because like a guy that runs like my father-in-law down there in Mills, Lampasas, San Saba County, moderately rough native pasture, he may not want a big old soggy cow like that. He may want one that's going to travel better and lay down and have a black calf that's going to wean healthy. And, his pro forma may be based on how many black calves can you sell to the order buyer.
Correct. But even with those, in my opinion, I don't care what color they are. Yeah. Does it help to get some CABs out of the deal, certified Angus beef? Yes. Does it help to get some primes out of the deal, out of your lot at the feed yard? Yes. But most of my cattle are high choice, and the worst, in my opinion, the worst thing that you can have is a set of cattle in the feed yard that you fed for 2 weeks too long, because they quit growing. They quit you. So,
and what's your daily carry cost on one?
Well, I don't look at daily. Well, I guess I could, but it's probably about $4.50 a head a day in the feed yard.
Yeah.
But I'm mainly looking at the cost of gain.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, like right now in today's time, we're closing out some steers that feed in the low 90s, and a heifer cost of gain just round $1.
If you kept them 2 weeks too long, you got $60 in wasted cost there, and do that 1,000
exactly
head, you're 60,000 in the red.
Yep.
From where you could have been.
Correct.
Yeah.
And every feed yard feeds them a little bit different. I've got one feed yard that'll feed a 750-pound heifer 160 days. I got another feed yard, they'll feed a 750-pound heifer 208 days. So it all just boils back down to knowing what feed yard to send what animal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to keep my quality good. I want them tall and deep bodied, just like your horses. I've seen your horses. They all cinch deep.
They got to cinch deep.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like tall ones anymore.
The bigger the heart girth, the better I like them.
I agree with that. They got to wear a big cinch.
And I don't care what color they are.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm after. And I've gotten picky. The more I've learned about this business, the pickier I get. That's why I do 95% of my own buying. Buying at the sale barns I'm hard to please.
Well, you got to be.
Yeah.
You know my brother, don't you, Kevin?
I met him a couple of different times.
Okay. So, Kevin's been really successful in the livestock deal.
Mm-hmm.
Sheep and goats mainly. Pigs too. Well, pigs, sheep, goats, some cattle. Yeah. But he's the same way. Yeah. You have to start with the right skeleton. If you don't start with the right skeleton, you're going the wrong way. Doesn't matter how shiny they are, how chromy they are, how fit they are, how finished they are. It does not matter. You have to start with the right skeleton.
100%. 100%. And that's just what's worked for me. But like I said, after I took out the bottom 10 or 15%, man, everything just got so much better. But then
why do you think guys are not like that though?
Because
they just want to make a deal. You think a bunch of them want to make a deal?
And you give, I'm not going to try not to throw anybody up underneath the bus, but you give an order buyer a figure and a weight, they're going to buy as many of them as they can.
Sure.
And try to
that's how they make money.
That's how they make money. $5, about $5 a head at a time.
Yeah.
And whether they buy them in singles or a 20, 40 head draft or semi-load deal. So they're after I'd rather have the better ones. And it's hard to, it's a fine line to, I know what I'm looking for because I see all my closeouts, I see all my invoices, I see everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to relay that to some guys. I got two guys, actually three, that buy for me. They know what I want, and I love it every time they get them.
Yeah.
But those guys,
But you're not mad if they don't bring you some this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But all three of them, they all feed cattle. They know what I want, and sometimes it's hard to relay that. Just like going and you have a customer that wants a piece of property, and they know what they explain to you what they want, and you, as a top realtor, you can figure out, hey, this place works for this place will work for this person. Then you go look at another place for them, and you're like, no, it ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
But a realtor that's just starting out,
they want to make a sale.
They want to make a sale.
Well, and most of them that have been in a long time just want to make a sale.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, just trying to put the right fit together.
Yeah,
it's all about relationships. So.
Yeah. What's the condition of the market today? There's a lot of factors in the cattle market. You brought some numbers, I think, where we're at, right? National herd.
Yeah. What? 27.5 million cows is where we're at now, and we've dropped. I'm about to turn 42 years old, and we've dropped 20% since 1984.
I'm an 84 model too.
Yeah, it's a good year.
Yeah, good year.
That's 7 million less head today than whenever we were born.
We got real close to today's inventory in 08, right?
Yeah, I don't know all the facts
it
off the top of my head.
Dipped down pretty close in 08.
Yeah, it's
but the cost of rebuilding today is a lot higher than it was then. That's the scary part.
Yeah, and there's less places to put them.
Yeah.
I mean, places are getting smaller, land's higher. You know, it's
most of the places that, on that note, like, it's pretty rare that we sell a place twice in the same configuration. Almost never. almost never do you sell a place and then 4 or 5 years later you sell it again and it's the same size. It's almost always in half or thirds or fractions of the original acreage. So you lose some capacity there because the big ranch as a whole might have made sense to have a set of pens, but when you start cutting it in half, it doesn't make sense to have a set of pens and everybody have a work and shoot and a trailer and a hand and a hay barn and all that stuff. So what ends up happening? They all go to wildlife.
Yeah, exactly. And they buy 3 cows and put them on 1,000 acres and
Yeah.
that's where the cow guy and the wildlife guy don't always see eye to eye, but the wildlife actually works with the cattle operation if run properly.
Yeah.
I mean, the quail population is not where it's at. If you got waist deep grass all over the ranch and so
being able to rotational graze is pretty important. I think there's a really strong relationship there for landowners. If they would have good leases and have good tenants, they would really benefit from a lease relationship with the cattleman.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Now the cattleman's got to be, even on small acreage, got to be able to move those cattle around. They have to be able to keep an eye on them, know when to move them. They may have to have another cowboy or two.
Right.
No,
it works really good with the stalker operation.
Real
you
good.
can go in there and unload however many head it takes.
Yeah, strip it down
and get off.
Get off.
Some of the best places that I have are places that we run stalkers on, that we graze it for 90 days and get off of it for the rest of the year. And that grass it's good, but you have to
just take a portable set of pins and load them, or what?
Oh, no. Yeah. No. If they don't have pins on them,
You're not the OK Corral guy,
I'm not interested.
Whatever that thing is, we pull it around. You're not one of them.
I've been enough.
Have you used one of those?
Oh, yeah. Heck, we've loaded in Oklahoma. We've loaded off of hot wire going into corrals, and it's a nightmare. And labor is so expensive now. It's cheaper in the long run to get everything set up properly and have it all there and have it where it flows and whatnot. But I think that
like day work labor.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own in-house guys. I guess I had one guy. We palpated some heifers the other day, and I had one guy come help me, a day labor. That's the first time I've hired any day labor in probably 3 years, because I have my own crew and that work for me full time. But yeah, it's a lot better if a man's set up and just puts up the infrastructure to do it right, and it'll be better in the long run. But I mean, some people don't want to do that, and I think they miss out on a lot of opportunities. Somebody hit me up the other day for to come graze a couple 100 acres, and there's no pens. And you want me to go drop off 100 head of steers over there and no pens?
Yeah, how would you load them?
Yeah, I mean, you have to bring a
bunch of panels.
Yeah,
one of them portable corrals.
Bring in portable corrals and, miss a few, and then you got to go catch them and tie them down. And that all sounds really fun and romantic until these steers they're costing $2,500 a round.
Yeah.
And we want to take
good care of them.
Yeah, it's a little different than whenever they cost $800.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to injure one, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's right. The border's going to open here pretty quick. What's that going to do?
Oh, well, I think they're going to cross about 50,000 in the first month.
In Arizona, though, right? They're not crossing any in Texas.
I think it's Douglas. And they'll open up more crossings as soon as the Mexican people prove to the American people that they're not going to send screw worms into the United States.
Yeah.
That's a big controversy.
There's only 5 active cases as of yesterday, I think, in Texas.
Yeah, but
of screw worms.
But most people that are in the cattle business in the United States do not want that deal to open back up. Other than the Texas feed yards.
The feed yards do.
Yeah. I mean,
and probably the roping cattle people do. Can you imagine having, I saw some fresh Corrientes the other day. These things are bringing like $2,100 to go rope.
Unbelievable.
Well, if they start crossing fresh inbrands, they're going to be back to worth $750.
It's going to take they better bring over a bunch of them because there's a bunch of ropers and bulldoggers that are ready for them.
Yeah.
And, I think they're bulldogging some steers that have been around for 3 years. Some
big steers.
Certain circumstances up north. But yeah, it's a big controversy on that deal. There's no doubt about it.
On the border.
Yeah. And
the cattle feeders want them because they just need numbers in the yard.
A cattle feeder is no different than a hotel.
Occupancy.
If that pen is not full, is not bringing back any revenue, they're making money on selling feed and yardage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they make their money at. And you got empty pens, which every feed yard's different, but they all have a break even, say, carrying capacity. Say they got to be 30 or probably 30 to 70% full to break even to pay the bills, because you can't let all those guys go. Because if they open up the border, then you need all them guys back, all your feed guys and your cowboy crew. And but I think I've been doing a little bit of research on it, and there's a handful of feed yards that they've been saving their chips. They're ready to roll when they open up this border. Yeah. And they're pumped. But
no, I think it's going to be good for them when it opens up.
Yeah, but
and the cow calf guys that have not, if they've looked at the prices in the last 2 years and they've borrowed monies on pickups and trailers and expanded their operations financially based on the last 2 years' prices, that probably was not a good decision. No. If they paid their cows off, that's probably a really good use of that extra revenues to get them cows paid for, cut out that interest payment.
They've kind of gotten used to, which we've made good money too. I'm not going to say we didn't or we haven't, but people get used to one thing, and then we have a short memory. Some of us do. And you get used to selling $2,000 to $2,800 calves. You get used to that, then you expect it. Yeah. And we've taken some money off this feeder market, and we had feeders up there around just call it 370. Now we're at 340. And those numbers aren't exactly right, but we've taken quite a bit of money off of this market. And, we had fat cattle around, just say 255. Some of it got up to 260 maybe for a few days, but now we're trading at 230. Take a $30 a hundred swing is a big swing on just call it a 13 to 1,600 pound animal. 13 to 1,600 pound animal at $30 a hundred. Yeah. I'm no mathematician, but that's $300 or $400 a head right there.
Yeah, $400.
Yeah. So
pretty big swing.
Yeah. And
per head.
Yeah. And a cattle feeder is usually working off of pretty slim margins. That's why they run so many. Yeah. But yeah.
Where do you think the sweet spot of the market is, Wesley? I know it's not really where you're at, but the average landowner that's wanting cows in the state of Texas is around 100 acres. Where should they be looking?
I think that they need to be penciling in to sell a $2,000 calf. I think that kind of works on today's time.
Stalkers or cow calf?
No, on a cow calf. If a guy sells a $2,000 calf, which I understand that there's some calves that bring $1,500, some of them bring $3,000. Mm-hmm. But if you just figure on $2,000 a calf every year, if you can get him to weigh 600, and if you can't make your calves weigh 600, I think you need a better cow or a better bull or a better feed program. Yeah. But
Yeah, so there's some feed component to that too, not just turning them out, letting them graze.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's I think it's a great way for a smaller guy to have, vacation money. I don't know how they want to look at it. Had a guy tell me the other day that he was so pumped up because he sold some calves that bring $2,200 a head, most he'd ever sold, and he's got like 6 or 8 cows. He's like, we went on another little vacation with that money. And that's how he looked at it.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good way to offset some income too.
Yeah, he was eating it up. So people are excited to be in the cattle business right now. So I don't know. It's good times, but it's hard to actually figure out what you can actually give for a cow for a guy that's starting out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a guy just goes out and if he's going to have to look at them every day, if a guy goes and buys 100 acres and he's going to have however many, just call it 15 cows.
Yeah. That's pretty strong pasture, 15.
Yeah. Well, they're all different.
Yeah.
Every place is different. So if you're going to go out there with your family and go look at your 10 to 30 cows every day, you better buy something that you like to look at. Because it's not going to be
Longhorns.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't prefer those, but it better be something that you like. And that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. You ever got into any of those Highlanders, the hobby cattle?
No.
Gosh, some of those are high.
I'm not much on selling off of social media. I did sell some replacement heifers over there on Facebook or TikTok or something one time. But yeah, no, I haven't. But hey, that's what some of these people want whenever they have to buy their 3 cows to put on their.
Look at them every day. Some of them want that if they're gonna have to look at them every day.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
That everything has a value on it.
I guess so.
This episode is brought to you by the Mock Ranches Real Estate Group. At Mock Ranches, we specialize in representing buyers and sellers of farms, ranches, and recreational land across the state of Texas. Our team sold over $1.25 billion of Texas land, and we focus on helping landowners make smart decisions about their most valuable assets. If you're thinking about buying or selling, or simply want to understand the land markets better, get a hold of us at mockranches.com. Mock Ranches, Texas land represented right.
You're a sell barn guy. You sell yours through the sell barn too, or do you sell them to order buyers?
No, I buy at sell barns, and the ones I do sell, I do a lot of business with Jason Harlow out of Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I have his checkbook. We trade feeder cattle in the country and whatnot. So the ones I do sell, I just throw them in on a contract with his deal, or they sell them for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good relationship, and we forward contract them, say with a base weight and a slide and a shrink, but those are all semi-load lot deals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sell mine delivered to a feed yard, and that's worked very well for me. I don't think I've sold any other way in a very long time. But if I don't sell them through him, I retain ownership of them through harvest,
mm-hmm.
and all those cattle will end up at National Beef at Liberal or Dodge,
Kansas.
Yep.
You said the opportunity for these guys is to sell a $2,000 calf. Where do you think the biggest risk is today, or where most people miss the mark in the cattle business?
Ooh, tough question. Don't forget to figure in your interest.
For sure, huh?
It's big time now. I mean,
what's interest on a load of cattle? 8% is higher than that.
No, just figure. I would probably figure around 8. I'm not going to say that there's not a bank out there that's at 6 or 10. It all depends on your relationship with the bank and your financial status. More or less, your financial status with the bank. I don't really want to say where I'm at, but I feel like I get a fair deal on my revolver. But yeah, somewhere in that window. But you need to figure out what it is, because a lot of these cows are costing $4,500 to $5,000 a good young cow, but she's going to last you a long time, and you keep selling $2,000 calves off of her, maybe $2,500 calves. I mean, it works. It works financially, but I think everyone's looking for the black swan. What's going to wreck out our market? Well, it was screwworms there for a minute, and I thought the market would go down more than it did, but it did not. It did not go down as much as I thought it was going to. And the Mexican border opening, I mean, that's news of that brought down the market.
Yeah.
But overall, Americans love beef, and hey, the whole world loves beef.
Sure.
And we have the best product there is. So I'm not really concerned about running out of buyers, even though we have gotten some of this ground beef up to, somebody sent me a picture of some in the grocery store that was like just shy of $10 a pound.
Pretty high.
Yeah. Pretty high. But I'd still rather eat it than chicken.
I'm not a chicken guy. Yeah. It's cheap protein, though.
Oh, it's 100% cheap.
That's because the ones on the top.
Where are you going with this?
Crap runs downhill.
Oh, yeah.
What do the ones on the bottom row eat? I'm not a chicken guy.
Yeah. No,
but it is cheap protein.
It is. So I just hope we don't turn the beef industry into the pork industry or something like that.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
Yeah, I think that where most of them miss the boat, the farmers and ranchers that we work for and are around, is not knowing their numbers. It's like any other business. It's like if I had a construction business in town or owned a retail store and I didn't know my numbers. I just woke up every day and I went to work and I had customers coming through the door, and we serviced our customers the way we intuitively thought we should service our customers and hope something beneficial comes out the back end. Most of them don't do that.
Right.
Most of them wake up every day. If it's time to feed cubes, they feed cubes. If they're going to put hay out, they put hay out, and they go out and they look at the pasture and think if it's time to rotate them, and they sell a cow when she gets old and they buy another one. And they don't know the numbers, calculating the inputs, calculating the interest cost, and really getting to where do you know what you're making. And then I see too, some of them, when you have a good year, there's an opportunity to improve some facilities, and they don't always do that. And we worked a bunch of cows the other day through a facility that was awful. It was man killers, man. Yep. And so your labor costs right there, everything is slower. It's more stress on the cattle. It's harder on the hands. And when you've got an opportunity to improve facilities, put some money back and improve some facilities. But then understanding business. I had Dr. Frank Owsley, the Dean of the College Ag and Natural Resource for Tarleton State University, in the office earlier, and we were talking about just this, about how they're integrating more through the College of Ag with the College of Business, so that those students come out of Tarleton not just knowing about agriculture, but also knowing business. Because business looks like, when should you turn equipment over? You drive through the countryside and look at old farms and ranches, and there's old broke down equipment stacked up. Well, that old broke down equipment was worth something at some point.
It's everywhere. It's hard, and it's hard for some of these guys to, and I'm guilty of it too, on certain occasions. It's hard to get rid of something or trade it in until you keep an itemized report on how much you dumped into that, how much money you dumped into that piece of equipment. Because if you just do it, if you just keep up with it just on the big repairs, and you don't keep it all, like you said, doing a good job on your bookwork and
But you ought to look at that like a utility contractor does. Yeah. Every piece of equipment is on a rotation on how long you're going to keep it and when you're going to trade it off. Because, you think about a combine, right? You run a combine till it's worth nothing and it's $1 million to replace it or whatever a new combine costs. Right. Now you're looking at this big nut to replace it.
Exactly.
When you could have traded that thing a few years earlier and had a lot lower delta there, a lot lower spread, and you're staying in a piece of equipment that's more dependable and warranted, and you don't look out there and you got all this old junk broken down.
That's not the way that the American farmer, or at least not the Texas farmer, has thought.
No.
In the last 100 years. They just keep it. And I've got some equipment that I need to trade off, but the problem is what's keeping some of these people from trading off their old stuff is your DEF, and your computers, your computer software and whatnot. These tractors they made it hard where only the dealers can work on them.
That's right.
And
but I think Deere just undid that, didn't they? I saw last week maybe.
Yeah, but it'll take a while for it to bleed down to us.
Yeah.
And
the DEF systems on the tractors is terrible.
Yeah, it's
especially harvest equipment that doesn't get used weekly. You let it sit there. It sits for months. You crystallizes. You go back out there and start it up. But I forget the acronym, but I was calling DEF some stupid Democrat deal. I don't know what it's called, but that's the biggest waste of money ever. It's about the biggest waste of money ever. I think I was calling it Democrats environmental fraud fluid.
Oh, there you go.
Democrat environmental fraud fluid, because it's the biggest waste of damn money you've ever seen. We're gonna truck this stuff around, and all the fuel and energy it takes to produce those little boxes of DEF fluid to stop up your trucks anyway, and use 30% more diesel when you're running them. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And then, that's.
But I know why they hold on to them, because of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's ridiculous, the cost of production. I mean, the guy that, like we talked about earlier, the guys that are baling my hay, I mean, they're charging $30 to $35 a roll, and I don't even know how much money they're actually making by doing that.
Yeah.
So, and of course they're running new equipment, and which they have to be efficient, to be extremely efficient. Yeah. But yeah. I
saw a guy, I know you got to go. I saw a guy yesterday, I think. He's a fishing guide on the coast, and he took a picture of filling his boat up at $4.90 a gallon for premium boat fuel. And he said, I'm going to have to go up on my charter rates, because charter rates have been the same my dad's been guiding for 10 years, and I think his charter rates is about the same for 10 years. But the boats have doubled, and he used to be fishing out of a $50,000 boat. Now his boat's $120,000. And fuel was $2 a gallon, and now it's, north of $4 a gallon. And all the inputs, fishing rods are expensive, right?
Yes.
And gentleman that owns a big boat dealership commented that he looked at the inflation number, that the U.S. dollar is worth 60% today what it was worth 35 years ago. Really? I think I'm quoting that right.
Yeah, but then
But for farmers, the commodity, now cattle is high today. You would have a hard time convincing somebody that cattle have not tracked with that, because cattle have really come up with that. But the farmers have not.
No, corn's cheap.
And that's one reason the cow deal's good, is because the commodities, the inputs on the feed side are real cheap.
Yeah,
but the cattleman needs the farmer. I mean, that's got to be a symbiotic relationship.
I think you can this week you can buy a spot load of ground corn for, don't quote me, but I think it's $195 a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty cheap in my eyes, which I have two different sets of eyes too, because we got to keep that corn farmer in business, and we got to be in business also. So it's kind of a, it's a hard number to figure out. It's like if one side of the industry is making money, the other side is losing money.
Yeah.
Just like the dairy business. If say your eastern dairies have had a storm come through and their production dropped off, then your western dairies is going to get a better price.
Yeah.
Or that's maybe a bad scenario, but
No, it happens.
yeah.
You got to get to Selborne. You're headed down to Jordan's?
Yeah. I go there every week. This will be the first week all summer they haven't taken a kid of mine. So since they started
back in school?
Yeah, they started school yesterday. So
Our kids do Whitehorse. They don't start until the end of the month. Last year we started after Labor Day. It was phenomenal. It was wonderful. You didn't start school till the, first part of September.
your kids are older than mine are. I need some daycare. I got to be able to catch up from the summer. But yeah.
All right.
So
You're buying today if you can.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I try to buy a semi-load to 2 semi-loads out of there every week.
Yeah.
That's kind of my goal. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a little bit cheaper this week because they've taken some more money off the board. But just looking for an opportunity, and if you don't expose yourself, you won't ever catch an opportunity.
Yeah.
In this deal. So,
Do you think, I'm going to ask you one more question.
yeah,
We talked about risk, or where a lot of producers missed the mark. One was not calculating interest. The other question I was going to ask you is, do you think a bunch of them miss out by being too risk adverse?
100%.
I see that a lot.
What they say, scared money don't make money,
Yeah.
but they're not going to lose anything either. But yeah,
But you don't lose anything, but you're not getting to capitalize on the big gains either, which
fact.
in that business, you have very few opportunities to make a big leap.
I remember whenever a 600-pound steer, I was buying them all day long for $1.50, and they got up to $1.60, and I said, that ain't gonna work. I'm not giving $1.60 for a 600-pound bull. Can't make it work. Looking back, I should have bought every one that was offered to me. So that was not very long ago.
Yeah.
Whenever we were at, say, $1.60, and then we kind of, you go to buying and then you hit a plateau, and you're like, there's no way this is going to work. And then it does, just kind of like around here, giving, whenever land values on, say, U.S. Highway 281 with road frontage, you could build a house on it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 10 acres, build a house, perfect property, got to 6,000, 5,000. They're like, there's no way. This is not going to work. Everybody's stuck on 3,500. And then we went from 3,500 to 5,000 or 6,000. And then it went like in $4,000 increments. Like then it was about 10,000. Then it was 15,000.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of stabilized at 12 at the moment.
yeah.
A
See,
lot of it. That's the biggest. We have missed out on more income than we've ever lost money by bad decisions, right? So
100%.
I remember during 2020 and early 2021, my wife and I, we missed 2 big opportunities. There was a ranch that my father-in-law leased that part of it come for sale. We had it under contract, got scared. It was about 1,200 acres, had it under contract for not
Yeah.
anywhere near what it
Right.
trades for today. Got scared. Our income was low too, though, because there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. And so our cash, now it was quickly after that our cash flow started really increasing, but we got scared and didn't do the deal. That place has sold 3 times since, and everybody's just nearly doubled their money on it. And I wouldn't have sold it. I'd still own it today if we'd have bought it. And then we had a place under contract in southern Colorado that was the same deal. It was on the river. Matter of fact, Joe and Ben and I, we took our families and stayed at that exact piece of property this year. It was on the river. It was about, I don't know what it was, 10 acres or so right there. think we had the whole place under contract for $300,000. Now there's, dozen and a half lots in there that are each $300,000. And we thought, oh my gosh, the market's going to crash and we're going to be stuck with this deal. And you've paid $300,000 for 10 acres. And then where we lived at that time in Dripping Springs, we bought our place for $30,000 an acre. Could have bought some more stuff. Thought there's no chance it'll ever trade for north of $30,000 an acre. This is crazy, but we'll buy it because we're going to die right here.
Right.
That was what my wife and I discussed. This is crazy. It's worth about 15. We'll pay 30 for it, and we'll just have to live here for 30 years to get our money back. So we didn't buy the place on either side. I sold that place for $110,000 an acre.
Wow.
You think if I'd have bought the two on either side, I wouldn't have had to work now.
Oh, yeah.
I could have just done other things.
Just like the place we talked about earlier that the guy left it in the will that I had a first chance to buy. Shoot, they hit me at like $4,200 an acre. No, it was $4,000 an acre anyway. I took Trent Walls over there and I said, what do you think? And he said, buy it. And anyway, drug my feet trying to get it bought for $3,500. I ended up giving just north of $6,000 for it 2 years later.
Yeah.
I was scared. And
I understand.
It's tough. It's a big decision to make. And you're like, I don't know if I can make it work. But
the risk takers.
Oh yeah. Everybody gets scared at some point. The ones that don't, that say they don't, they're filling you full of bull.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Get to the cattle sale.
Yeah. I appreciate you having me.
Well, I appreciate you. Yeah. It's probably, I learned a lot more than you did. So
well, I don't know about that.
I don't know if it's a good use of your time, but I enjoyed the conversation.
No, it's good. I enjoyed it and like what you're doing around here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Come see us. Good luck at the sale.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Go buy some cows.
That wraps us up. I appreciate you listening to the Landowner Insider. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to follow the show, leave us a review, and share it with another Texas landowner. For more insights, listings, and resources for Texas landowners, visit mockranches.com. Till next time, I'm Kasey Mock, your host. This has been the Landowner Insider. Go get 'em.